everything. All right, we're gonna have the meeting on the select board town plan. Any changes to the agenda? Does anybody have anything they would like to review on town plan?
Who's there? Can you tell?
Just Linda and Brian and Denny and
And
The
you?
Granquists. And Katie, right? Katie. I actually have a couple of questions. One, a very minor question. So the copy that we got is was redlined with some changes in it. I'm assuming this copy here is the final draft?
Yeah,
The one that we
Okay.
read, the one that we were, that's the one that we
yes,
have, okay.
you should have had both.
Yeah, that's the one that I
Yes.
read, yeah.
Okay, I didn't notice the difference, I'm sorry, so I didn't see this. So you've probably corrected these, but some of the redlined additions that were put
Matt has
in.
made all the red line additions.
Okay, I'm just saying that I was just gonna say that some of the wording, then taking out the word shall or require and changing it to suggest, changes the structure of the rest of the sentence, and some of them were still awkward. I'm assuming, Matt, that you corrected all of those?
Yes, I believe we did correct all those, and if there's any kind of small grammatical issues, we can go in and fix those too.
Okay, I'm
So-
sorry, really minor issue, I just thought it should read well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And sometimes, like in the process of making those redlined edits, you don't catch all of the additional grammatical changes that need to be made. So,
Right.
but we'll definitely catch those before this is kind of the final version that gets sent to the town.
Okay, great, thank you. I have one other question, if that's okay, and the question that, and it's, there's a lot of background information about Weston in here. And I'm wondering how much of this report was written by the Planning Commission and how much of it is sort of boilerplate that comes from the state? Or maybe the Wyndham Regional Commission, I'm not sure where.
Yeah, in terms of the background information, I'll say too that this is an update to the town's. It would be the 2016 town plan. So we did not start from scratch with this document. So there are many sections within the town plan that were largely unchanged, and I would say a lot of that background information about the history of the town and how it's developed over time, most of that stayed the same. We provided some updated information just based on things that have happened in Weston since 2016 when the town plan was last updated. But the process was the Planning Commission and Wyndham Regional Commission working in collaboration on updating the town plan. And so the background information is that's from the Planning Commission. So that's not from the state of Vermont.
Yeah, and what about the recommendations, the policy sections and the recommendation sections? I'm interested in how much of that is mandated by the state and how much of it is unique to Weston and the Planning Commission.
Yeah, so similar to the background information, a lot of the policies that are in the plan that you're considering this evening, a lot of those policies were carried over from the 2016 town plan. Certainly, we made some updates to different policies within the plan. I think what I would do is you may have seen towards the back of the plan, there's a section called Consistency with Vermont State Planning Goals.
Sure.
And so what's required by the state is that the town plan includes certain elements, certain topics that are covered. And all those topics are included in your town plan. So those are things like land use, housing, economic development. So the state has requirements for those broad categories topic areas that are in your town plan. And then the state also has a requirement that the town plan include policies that help the town achieve the statewide planning goals. And there are 14 statewide planning goals. And those are listed in that section, consistency with Vermont's state planning goals on page 68 of the town plan. And so what we did is we listed out those 14 statewide planning goals on the left-hand side of that table, and then just identified relevant objectives and policies in Weston's town plan that help achieve those statewide planning goals. And so the state requirements are really those 14 broad statewide planning goals. And then it's up to the towns to figure out policies that make sense, policies and objectives that make sense for the town that are consistent with the statewide planning goals. So towns need to respond to those statewide planning goals, but the towns still have a lot of discretion about exactly the types of policies you want to have and recommendations in your town plan. The state doesn't review your town plan and approve it. You can ask for the Wyndham Regional Commission, our organization, to approve the town plan and to confirm your municipal planning process. We recommend that because it does make the town eligible for certain state grants. But we are the entity that's reviewing and approving your town plan. The state isn't approving it. So we do that evaluation at our organization to confirm that you're consistent with those statewide planning goals. So hopefully, does that answer your question? That was kind of a long response, but
No, I
hopefully
appreciate
that
that.
helps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just getting caught up in the whole process of writing the town plan. Thank you very much.
Matt, just a continued question there. So how new are these statewide planning goals? Is that new just in the last couple of years, or?
Statewide planning goals, they've been in place for many years. I can't say exactly when they were first put in place, but it's been decades that they've been in place, not
Okay.
years. The state does from time to time make updates to those statewide planning goals. So I know, for example, goal number 13 about ensuring the availability of safe and affordable childcare. I think that was added in the early 2000s as a statewide planning goal. Goal
Okay.
number 14 about encouraging flood resilient communities, that was added
Yeah, it was recent.
maybe
Okay.
about 10 years ago now. So sometimes the goals are updated, but these have been pretty standard going back many
you.
years. Yeah.
Debbie?
Yes, I wanted to respond to the couple things. One is, my recollection is that those planning goals went in under Madeline Kunin when she was governor and with Act 200. I think that's when it started. And in response to Linda's question about the policies, I would guess that if you went and looked at, if you picked 10 town plans from around the state, they have all different policies. The policies are relatively unique to each town, depending upon what the town thinks it's important for the town. And they, as Matt indicated, there are these 13 overarching goals, and part of the policies are how does your particular town want to impact or deal with these goals. So it's very individual per the town. Does that help, Linda?
Oh, yeah, that's great, thank you. So these are topics and the town has to decide, it has to cover those topics and just decide how they're going to approach each of the topics for their particular town. Yep, thank you.
And can I, can I just say, like, when we're looking at stuff, I just want to say on page 7, there is actually, maybe you caught it, Matt, there's a typo on the Farrar Manser Museum. It's spelled incorrectly. And I also wondered, since that whole section, that is new from the Old Town Plan, or that paragraph is new from the Old Town Plan. And so since it makes a litany of the key attractions in the village, I'm wondering if it should also include the village store in addition to the Vermont Country Store.
Oh, I see. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th paragraph on page 7, and it's at the end of that paragraph.
Oh, for.
Okay.
So you're suggesting, Debbie, that it's thousands of visitors flocking each year to visit the Vermont Country Store, the village, the Weston Village Store, the Weston Playhouse, the Old Mill, the Farrar Manser House without an H, and other establishments. Yep. With a period at the end of the sentence.
So I have a question. A lot of people put a lot of work into this. What is this document really worth after the town adopted the one in 2016? A major change was made to it, and I may have missed it. I don't think there was a town meeting held to discuss this major change. So what's to say the same thing doesn't happen with this?
And I'm sorry, Denny. So after the 2016 plan was adopted, a change was made to the plan.
Yes.
I mean, I just for my knowledge, I mean, are you able to share what the change was?
It's pretty simple and people aren't gonna be happy, but in the town plan, it said move the library out of the floodplain area. Now they're building the library. They're gonna spend $3 to $4 million during the gut sell of town to hopefully, notice I say hopefully, drop the flood level down so it doesn't affect the new library. But the 2016 plan, right in the front part of it says, move the library out of the floodplain. And then it was changed and there was no public hearing to my knowledge. Now, I don't catch everything. But you know, it makes you wonder who's got the pull to just change it, do it without the town's involvement.
Was the town plan changed, or that decision about the library just wasn't
In mind.
just didn't keep the town plan in mind?
Or was it not? Was it changed and then not announced?
I don't know if it was changed, but it just went right on through.
So I guess one of the questions is who's responsible for maintaining the authority of the town plan? I would think that would be the planning commission and the select board, or the select board and the planning commission,
Yeah.
maybe first the select board.
And zoning, because he has to issue a permit.
Okay. But the select board has approved the plans of the library, the building
Not
plans of the
100%,
library.
but
Okay, but there was a majority of the select board approved the plans of the library, and there have been permits issued. So I mean, I understand your question. I guess the broader question seems to me to be who makes sure that what happens in the town follows the town plan or authorizes a change to that town plan.
And we don't actually make it change to the town plan, right? Because this is a guidance, right? From what I'm reading, this is guidance. It's not that we need to stick with it. Not that we shouldn't have in this case, but I'm just saying, so there wouldn't be a change to the town plan directly, right? It would just be someone, this group or the planning commission would look at it and say, does this make sense or doesn't it? And if they didn't, then they would have to have a conversation
like-
about that.
That good, that's good. It's sort of like strategic plans. You set up a
Yeah.
strategic plan and then 2 years later you say,
Modify it.
yeah, you modify it.
I'm bringing this out so everybody knows about it. It's on GNet and everything, because some of this stuff goes on and nobody ever hears about it.
Okay,
Yeah, I just wanted to just confirm kind of what you all have been talking about. So you're right, the town plan, ultimately it's adopted by the select board, and the select board is the only body within the town that can adopt the town plan. The planning commission is responsible for preparing the town plan at the direction of the select board. And after a plan is adopted, the town can always go back and amend its town plan. Once you adopt a plan, it is valid for 8 years before you need to go back and do a more thorough update.
If
But
you adopt it, you're supposed to have hearings and everything, or amend it.
right. So the planning commission held a public hearing. I'm trying to remember, I think that was in August. And then the select board held a public hearing in November, and then this is your final public hearing.
No, I'm talking about the previous town. plan.
Okay, oh, sure, yeah. So, yeah, I can't comment on kind of what happened with that, but right there, to amend a town plan, you still need to do the planning commission having a public hearing and the select board having a public hearing. So that process still needs to be followed even for an amendment. There was the point made that the town plan it's an advisory document. It's not binding. It's not a regulatory document. So towns can deviate from what's in your town plan. That's
A proper protocol wasn't handed.
So I have a
so
question.
did the select board try to do that? Did the select board say we should have a hearing because we're not following the town plan?
At the time, I hadn't updated myself on the town plan, and Jim was pushing it. Because 4 individuals bought the house next door, and it was already in the works. They asked the town for some money.
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
I have the old town plan in front of me, the 2016 town plan. And I can't read it verbatim, word for word at the moment, but I don't see anything in this town plan that specifically speaks about the library and the flood zone. I do know that what happened, and Matt and I have been talking about this in the draft that was done by the planning commission earlier this fall. There was a statement in that draft that specifically said that it said that the library was in the special flood hazard area. Matt and I have been in touch on that. We've also I've been in touch with Ned Swanberg of the Agency of Natural Resources in terms of the flood maps. As a matter of fact, it was the flood map, Denny, that you just sent to me. And the library is not where the library building is going is not in the special flood hazard area. And if you look on page 52 at least it's on page 52 of the plan that I have in front of me, there is a map, and it specifically now has been corrected to show that the library is not in the special flood hazard area. So I don't know if that helps with you, with your concerns, Denny, but I don't remember, I didn't know that there wasn't anything, and I can't find anything in the old town plan about moving the library or not moving the library, but if you can find something, I would be happy to learn about it.
Well, when you guys had the hearing at church, I brought it up, and Matt says, well, you're allowed to deviate. And that was not on tape, and I just wanted to bring everything up to the forefront so people know what's going on.
Okay, so that's old news.
Yeah.
But you're making the point that we need to be very aware of what's in the town plan so that that sort of issue doesn't happen again.
Right, and these maps, as Shannon knows, doesn't mean much to me because I'm colorblind.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh.
I know.
That's an issue. I can see that that would be.
I'm
an
halfway
issue.
there too. Ben. So,
So that's good. The select board has ultimate authority for being sure that the town plan is followed or calls a hearing for amending the town plan.
Yeah.
Is that right?
so this is, yeah, it's just so important for us to have this document around us at all times.
Yeah. Memorize it. Please. Don't put that in.
She's putting it in.
Anybody else got questions on this, plan? Well, then, let's see, I believe it's on our agenda to adopt it in regular selectmen's meeting. Let's see.
Number 7.
So when we get to the regular select board meeting, unless somebody has more questions or anything, we'll bring it up for adoption. Okay.
So, Debbie, are you still on? Well, Matt, you can probably answer this.
I am.
Debbie,
Mhm.
oh, okay, so I should be looking at this, none of that, shouldn't I? Sorry.
Okay.
Debbie and Matt had some communication around the library, where the library was positioned in reference to the floodplain or the special flood, whatever it's called. Is that all resolved now? Everything has been changed according to what you asked for, Debbie?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was the reason that this got questioned was because Denny had brought it up at the public hearing at the church. And after that public hearing, I was in contact with Jim first as a select board member, and to try to figure out, because I know from our engineer and the permits that we have applied for the library, we are not in the special flood hazard area. I worked with Matt and he confirmed that. We went on maps and looked at it, and then the map that I just received from Shauna from Ned Swanberg and A&R confirms that and that the library, where the library is being built, is not in the special flood hazard area.
Okay, thank you.
As long as we got an extra minute, how's the grant writing coming along? Have they figured out whether the dredge stuff coming out of the river is hazardous or not?
I'm not in charge of that, actually, Jenny. I think that Jim is taking care of that.
Well, Matt's helping write the grant, aren't you, Matt?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that might be Alyssa at our office that's
Yeah,
helping
it
with
is.
that. Is that the hazard mitigation grant?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's Alyssa at our office that's working on that.
But I do know from a couple meetings ago that Denny had asked a whole bunch of questions to be answered by Wyndham Regional and or Stone Engineering or something to, and I don't know. I think as far as I know, well, Shauna might know if those questions, what happened with those questions. I don't know.
We haven't received anything back from them yet.
Reason I'm asking so many questions is Jim has swore up and downhill many, many times that this is gonna be fully funded, no cost to the town. And if they're trying to put a grant together, they gotta make sure they've checked everything out as far as price of equipment used, where that material is gonna be hauled, whether it's hazardous or not and stuff, because I guess at our last meeting, we discussed, we don't think the construction is gonna be till 28. So with inflation and everything, I just want a big enough grant applied for to cover everything. I don't want one of these things where, whoops, we messed up, but town's gotta pick it up. No.
Well, it's my, Denny, these are absolutely excellent questions, and concerns. And, it's my understanding that Jim, is working with, Wyndham Regional and with, Stone Engineering, and that they are in the process of, completing an application, and the application is due on, it's my understanding, April, I don't know, 30th, I believe.
30th.
30.
So it would seem to me that the select board will be seeing that application before somebody signs it. So I'm assuming that somebody has to sign it on the select board, and that the select board.
At the hearing at the Walker Farm, Stone Engineering could not answer the hazardous waste question, and that did not impress me very much. They're supposed to be an engineering firm, and they should have known that.
Well, since you brought it up, I think they'll be paying attention to it now. Yeah.
I don't know.
You're talking about the hazardous waste that was brought up going down south of the village. Once
Well, north of the village behind the dam, I think is what he was
north of the
concerned
village
about.
behind the dam.
The silt
Okay.
behind the
The silt
dam.
behind the dam. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna dredge from the dam up to, I think, just above the firehouse.
Right.
Somewhere between the firehouse and the bridge they just put in this winter that goes across the river, somewhere's in that area there. But there's a lot of material there, and you know, people don't think about the cost of where it's gonna be trucked, and then if it has to go to a special spot.
Isn't that put in as far as like what it would be for the bid that we're gonna look at before it goes through for the 30th? Wouldn't that be a part of it or no?
What they're doing is they're applying for a grant,
Right.
and if they don't consider all these things, they won't get their grant number correct.
Right.
And once it's submitted, they don't give you more.
Do we need to have a motion to close this meeting?
I think so.
So moved. I move that we close this meeting, the select board public meeting on the town plan.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
I
Town plan is closed.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just quickly, would it be helpful for me to stay on until this comes up on the agenda on your regular meeting, or? Just-
Well, what we can do, so you don't have to hang on all night, is, Jeff, you're number one on things.
Oh, it's nice to be number one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me sign this thing. As you know, it's winter just
Came back.
refuses to give up. But the ice has been really set us back. I had to bring Nick in at the end last week, and I've had him in. They spent 7 days cleaning up debris on like Holden Hill, Summit Trails, all that stuff. But we still don't have it all out of the roads. So that's an unforeseen thing, and of course, then that keeps us from, trying to patch mud holes when you get a day when it's good. So I will say people have been very understanding. I haven't had much for complaints about it, but we're gonna try to tomorrow morning patch some mud. But if we've got snow on the road, we're not gonna patch mud. So it's that's kind of where we're at. Anytime, the excavator, I've kind of made a deal with the excavator, and there's this
Bill in here.
one of the bills in there, and then there'll be another small batch coming, or not a batch coming, but it'll all be under the budget that you gave me to spend. I got paperwork we don't have to go into, I don't have to go into great detail with it tonight. I can leave stuff with Sean or whatever, and you guys can see it. But other than that, I don't know. Do you have anything for me, Denny?
Yeah, I came in real late this afternoon. It's not for tonight's meeting, but Shauna's got 2 job applications you might want to take a look at. and give me
Yeah,
some thoughts.
I think Shauna texted me late this afternoon. One of the guys called me last week at some point, and I spoke with him,
So,
encouraged him to apply. The other one came in today too, Shauna?
No, just that one for today. I only have one job application.
I thought there was 2.
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Okay,
Hi.
so,
Could you just sign in the sign in?
Yeah, you
sheet?
guys
And grab a
get a
seat.
chance to,
Yeah, definitely.
you guys look at it, and I think Shauna said she emailed it over
Yep.
Yeah.
to me. I'll get a chance. I did talk with a gentleman on the phone. So that's about all. I haven't seen the application, but I did encourage him to submit something. The small trucks, the 22, we think the front end is gone. Done some, Alvin came in and helped us do some work on that, which thank goodness for him too, because that allowed us to work on some of the ice damage, but kind of narrowed it down that we think the front end is gone, and we've taken the hubs out and everything and stopped making the noise. And what we're really, with all this ice damage, we're in need of that small truck that you can throw brush in. Because here's what happened when that ice came through and it knocked all the stuff down. The other thing that we're fighting, because we're looking at coming up on grading, we broke all these small sticks off in the road. So we're not only have to clean up the brush, we're having to leaf blow the road off, because there's all these sticks that are gonna get milled in with trying to grade the dirt road. So, you got 6, 8-inch sticks all over the road, so we've been fighting it.
it's a spaghetti mess.
Yeah,
It'll get worked out.
I haven't seen it, but as soon as we get a chance, we're gonna take it to one of the dealers and let them look at it.
Maybe you and I can get together sometime, look at this application, and then if it looks interesting, we'll get one other board member to interview him and then bring it to the.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll get a chance to look at it, and then we can go from there.
Is- Could I just ask a question about, is that the application that you sent to us, Shauna?
Yes,
I think we need more information on that application.
I was just gonna say there was,
Isn't there a resume? with
I
it?
wasn't even, I didn't,
There's
there
no
was,
resume.
it's just the job.
it's just the job application. I didn't, there wasn't like an age or anything put on it either.
I guess.
It's
you
just
got that.
references and where, yeah,
Right, he just says he was foreman, but he doesn't.
Current.
a current in
Oh.
Springfield, but
What, road foreman?
Easy people.
Labor
Easy,
foreman?
Easy.
Easy.
I'm sorry, okay, sorry, yeah, you're right, sorry.
That's why we go into executive session.
Yep, sorry, my apologies. But anyway, I think we need more information.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of all I have.
Okay,
And anybody else, anything for me? And if not, I'll go check Prairie Hill and put some salt down on that and go home.
all right.
All set?
thank you,
Thank you,
Jeff.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
You too, thanks.
Changes to the agenda. Tina, I messed up a little bit, but we got Matt here on Zoom. I told him I'd move him up so he could get off Zoom, and then we'll
Sure.
get to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. No
All
problem.
right, so we're gonna go to Matt. Can you hear me, Matt?
I can, yes.
On the town plan?
Yeah, so just to kind of summarize what is being asked of the select board tonight, the select board is considering adoption of the town plan update. We just held the final public hearing earlier this evening. and the select board had a chance to review the final revisions that were made to the town plan based on the comments that they had. I think you've seen, I met with the planning commission yesterday evening just to review the revisions made by the select board, and they did confirm that those revisions are still consistent with the statewide planning goals. So at this point, the select board can consider a motion to adopt the town plan. We have gone through all the select board public hearing requirements as well as the planning commission public hearing requirements. But I'm happy to answer any questions, any last questions about the final steps in this process.
Anybody got questions?
I do not.
Well, I guess we need a motion.
I move we accept the town plan as written.
I second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And like I told you before, I'm not comfortable with the way things do with the state dictating what we gotta do and stuff, so I'm gonna abstain. So there you have it, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Then you suggested we might want to have a motion to submit the town
yes.
plan to the Wyndham Regional Commission. And the benefit of doing that would be to have you approve the town plan so that we can apply for municipal assistant grants. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you for the reminder. So the select board can also this evening make a motion to submit the town plan to Wyndham Regional Commission. And then the Wyndham Regional Commission will review the town plan. And they would, we have to hold our own public hearing on it. And then we vote to approve the town plan and confirm the municipal planning process. And right, one of the benefits of that is the town is eligible for applying for municipal planning grants, which is the grant the town received to do this town plan update project. There are other state grant opportunities too that are available to you with a town plan approved by the Wyndham Regional Commission. So it's recommended, you're not required, but it is recommended that you ask for that Regional Planning Commission approval as well.
I shall do that motion now, please.
Go ahead, Katie.
I then go to pass a motion to have this submitted to the WRC to be reviewed.
There's a second.
Anyone second?
I second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's passed. Anything else, Matt?
That's all I have. So thank you all. And it's been a fun project and I'm sure I'll see you soon. So yeah.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Matt.
Matt.
Thank you very much.
Everything.
So there's just the two.
I have a quick question though. As far as what we were talking about with the town plan is, do we have to have another motion? Part of it is like officially saying that this is what it's going to be and it won't be changed. Do we have like a separate motion about that?
I think that the understanding is
Yeah,
that
it's just
it's
the understanding.
that it's the
It is,
town
it's the town
plan.
plan and that's it. We
And
don't have
there's
to do-
there's a
It's just
process.
us. Okay.
The living document, that,
changing it.
right.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you need to have a
Okay.
separate motion.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I'll go
Question.
3, public comment. Okay, Martina. May I explain one little thing first?
Yeah, of course.
These 3 selectmen are brand new this year. They've done,
Oh, okay, I can do it.
this is
quick,
like
quick.
your 3rd meeting.
Yeah, I think so. I've been here a little over 4 years now, so,
Oh, great.
in Vermont. But
So-
I can do a quick, sorry, I'm just gonna set this down.
That's fine.
Please,
There's some
yeah,
space here.
Yeah, I brought a little map, but hi, I'm Martina Barnes, and I know, yeah, some of you, but, and this is Stacy Stratton. We work in the Manchester Ranger District, and I'm what's called the District Ranger, so I run the office. We're part of the Green Mountain and Finger Lakes National Forest. yes, the Finger Lakes is in New York, but administratively, we're one national forest, even though it's 5 hours from here to the Hector, New York office.
It's a neat little history why that happens, so I'll have to look it up sometime.
Yeah. But yeah, just so for those of you who are new, so the Green Mountain National Forest is about 500,000, a little less acres, and the Manchester Ranger District is about 240,000 acres, give or take. About 29 towns, runs from approximately Route 4, like not including Killington, but around Route 4 and to the north, all the way down to Pownell. To the south, to the Massachusetts border, is the extent of the Ranger District, just for scope. So we don't hit all 29 towns every year because that would take a lot of work, but we try to hit the ones where we have active projects going on, and because we don't have stuff going on in every single town. So the reason I'm here tonight is just to give you just a really brief overview and let you know we are here. Customer service is is our mission. And so we want to make sure the public is aware of the work we're doing. If you have concerns about the work we do, let us know. Overall, we have a multi-use mission. So it's we do recreation, we do timber harvesting, we do fish and wildlife projects. So we do a variety of projects to steward the national forest for the public. So so is that, I don't know if you have any questions about sort of the general background.
That's great.
And we're located in Manchester off of 11 and 30, sort of across from Bob's Diner and on your way down from Bromley. So yeah, Stacy can talk about the West River timber sale, which is just north of Weston, but we don't currently have a ton of active projects going on. You can see here too, we have a small prescribed burn, which is, some people call it a controlled burn, but the terminology the Forest Service uses is prescribed burn because we use specific prescriptions as to how we do the fire. So we're planning this at this time of year, obviously, is when you do your pile burning and before the leaves are on the trees. We're trying to get some of these burns done. So of course, if it stops snowing, that's always helpful. And the sun comes out and it warms up to more than 25 degrees, but we're hoping. Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, there's another unit up there, even though it's not directly in Weston, but so so we do contact, we use the state directory of fire wardens to have our fire staff contacts fire wardens in advance of any burns. So I'm not sure exactly when, but it'll probably be April, May timeframe that we'd be doing the Holt Mountain. I think it's near, I think it's called, I think that's, down just a couple acres, 3 acres. And we'll leave this map with you. But yeah, we'll notify the town, the fire warden, if and when that happens, so that you're aware, as well as probably if the one up there, if that happens, we'll probably.
We usually call a couple towns away, and so that's the big thing is that, I don't know who the fire warden is, but if they, just make sure, just make sure your information there is correct, because sometimes it's 4 or 5 different numbers.
I've already got a call from Forest Service for.
Oh, good.
All right,
Okay.
we just burned in Land Grove some not too long ago and other places. So good, I'm glad it's working. So it doesn't always, we're trying to clean it up, so.
Exactly. Yeah, we had a few anyway, it wasn't perfect, but people move away and things happen. The other wanted to mention, I think it's called the Greendale. It's just north of Weston, but the Greendale North Snowmobile. It's like a multi-use bridge, which is I think currently basically in total disrepair. And so there was a relocation for the snowmobilers this winter. And the plan is to, assuming we get funding for it, to replace that bridge. So hopefully we'll get that bridge replaced hopefully before the next snowmobile season. And we usually work with VAST to help us with that. and or, other contractors, but I know that's a, popular. Quarter 7 is a popular corridor for snowmobiles, so that's being planned. And then I know you probably get the town report, but I just wanted to highlight before I turn it over to Stacy, a few things that we kind of interesting factoids that in Weston, I guess there is a through our botany program, we update what's called the Regional Forester Sensitive Species List, and so that is to identify rare and uncommon plants and state listed species that are detected in the forest. And in Weston, there was a leathery grape fern. I just find it interesting. It's a rare plant species that was identified.
There's a bunch of them in this area.
Okay.
It's over the line.
Oh.
It's like old, that's been harvested and it's starting to grow back, like that type of terrain.
So kind of cool.
But I would never know it if someone had even shown it to me. It's just like one
So-
plant here and there. So.
Leathery grape fern, that was kind of cool. And then, yeah, Stacy will talk about the timber sales that are happening around here. And then, well, we have the Western Priory, but that's passed. And then in the fisheries realm, we do monitor fish populations and including streams in, well, Dorset, Shaftesbury, Weston, and Peru. And that's a, way to just collect long-term data. We work with Vermont DEC on that. And also another thing we do for monitoring is in the realm of songbird surveys also, which were done in Weston last year. These are all things that were done in 2024, conducting songbird surveys also to understand the effects of our forest management on the bird population, which is one of the many reasons we do forest management is to study the positive impacts on wildlife habitat. So that I just kind of wanted to mention that, a couple of interesting factoids that include Weston. So thank you.
I have a question. Where Jenny Coolidge Road intersects Greendale Road,
Yeah.
there's a bridge there. And to the left, the stream goes up to the National Forest.
Mhm.
It's actually 2 questions now, I think of it. Do you folks have any plans to remove some of the trees and stuff that are in the brook there?
Well, those, I don't
That
know.
have fallen into the brook.
Yeah,
They're-
ones that are falling
yeah.
across the brook. Because our concern is that during the high water,
Right,
they come down and catch on that bridge.
and and then the bridge could be blown out, yeah.
And then the other question.
Okay, I can find out, I don't know the answer offhand though.
And I think this is the right bridge. I've been under a few. I don't know if it's proper right, where stalactites or stalagmites hanging off the bottom of that bridge.
Oh, that's, okay, not good.
Right?
That may not be, I don't know if that's, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, in your plans and grand scheme of things, someday things may have to be replaced, and I'm wondering if the Forest Service with all the timberland north of there would help out if that bridge has to be replaced.
Okay, because that's a town, it's not on the forest, the bridge is,
Well, there's a question that kind of hanging out there. We claim it as a town road,
okay,
but then there's a lot of roads in this town the Forest Service claims as Forest Road this or Forest Road that numbers. And it's never really been totally answered that I know of, who actually owns the
the
road.
bridge, okay, oh, the
And we
road.
may label it a forest road, but if you looked at like I go into like on a timber sale and let's say that I'm up here and it might say Forest Road, whatever it is, but like Forest Road 18, I think that's
Yeah.
that Moses Pond, I think,
Right,
or
yeah.
19, one of those, but it might say when I look at it, it's like, but it's got local jurisdiction. you know, we just call it a forest road.
Mhm.
But
It
it's the
makes it be a town,
jurisdiction
yeah.
of the actual road is what you're
We go
asking is.
by, yeah,
is
but
it,
we
you
can
know-
find, yeah,
I mean, I'm just trying to
Good
get
question.
some answers.
right, yep, yeah.
So I have a question about how you decide about those burns, very small burn, 1 acre, 2 acres, those are pretty, how do you decide you're gonna do a burn there?
A lot of the burns that, and Stacy jump in here too, but some of the areas we pick are already either temporary or permanent wildlife openings, or like they were old apple orchards. I don't know in this case if this is
Oh, I see.
so we're trying to kind of maintain them that way and keep them
Maintain
more
open.
open.
Gotcha.
So even if they're small, and I'm not directly involved in how the Fish and Wildlife staff works with our fire staff to identify those at the beginning of every season, and we try to do a rotation, so it's kind of like, and we try to be a little bit like geographically equitable so that we're hitting different areas across the district and not just every year we hit, Dorset, we try to mix it up so that every town gets, a little bit of love, so to speak, every, not every year, but that we spread it around.
And it takes a while and every one of those openings for enough fuel to build up to burn,
Mhm.
to have enough grass. And then, the habitat is, a lot of it is for, like we have a project like this one up here is part of the early successional habitat, and that's for migratory game and migratory birds. There's just not enough openings for these birds when they get here. They need, young stands for food, and they need like a little bit older for nesting, and then when they fledge, well, they need a little bit older for us, so they all need these different layers, and that's what a lot of this is. And these openings, once the trees get a certain size, they become, more of, they start converting to like an older, not old forest, but like 15, 20 years old. The trees get different size and animals can't reach them to eat, and the birds stop using them. So we burn, and that's a great economical way to recreate that opening, because the burn doesn't burn everything. It misses spots, just like it would in nature. And so you kind of burn off those trees that aren't adapted for fire, and you start new ones. And then there's that food source again. And so, New England doesn't burn all that much since 1947, really, since that big fire, but it does in spots, but it's small burns. That's why we keep them small.
I was gonna say, people in California don't wanna see you.
I know, well, people say that, and then they look at one of our fires, what was the one in Killington? It was what, half an acre, and it had 9 fire crews on it. So everyone sees the news and they panic. But again, it just comes down to that, we just don't have that type of soil, and we don't have that slash on the ground like we used to have from just uncontrolled clear cutting. That was, or Hurricane of 38 was what started the fire of 47, because it was just all these dead trees plus harvesting. And so plus a really dry year. But that's where so I work with them a lot on this, because some of these have to get recreated, so we do like a timber sale. Usually it's like a firewood sale, something small, and recreate it, and then they burn it. So if you've been into one of those, you'll just see, blueberries come back, and people don't know that blueberries need fire. You don't have that, like, why are you burning the blueberries? Well, they need to. And it just comes up that people just don't know that. So I'm glad it did.
I didn't know that either.
I mean, they just can't compete against trees. So they need to get restarted once in a while and get rid of all that culch or slash, whatever you want to call it, that is blocking them from, growing.
Right.
And so just kind of, they're adapted for being in openings, which do get burned a lot. So that's kind of how it works, that's why we do small ones. We don't really do any big ones. We do have some of those, but they're in different areas.
The timber sale.
So it's off the Greendale Road, on the Mount Hall end. And so, again, this is part of the early successional habitats called the West River Timber Sale. So it's kind of like the headwaters of the West River up here.
So it's going up Route 155 on the left-hand
Yes.
side and not Holly.
Yeah.
And so, again, the reason we went into, there's plantations in there. There's red pine plantations. Red pine is native to Vermont, but not plantations. And so what we try to do is we try to spot those areas that are, because they're all the same age, and they're all the same genetics. So if something bad happens, it's gonna happen to all of them. And so you'll go up there and you go past like the Priory, and you'll see like where the wind event was in 2014, knocked a bunch of them down. And then, we also look at, the stand ages and how are they doing. We have trouble with beach bark disease. and now beech leaf disease, which is something new. They're trying to figure out where that even comes from. They know it's a nematode, it's a very small microscopic worm, but they don't know where it comes from. But it's in the soil and it's getting into the leaves and it's making the beech leaves die instead of just the bark. So we're looking for unhealthy stands, and so what we do is we've made temporary openings. They're not. Some people might call them clear cuts, but they're small. Some are 5 acres, some are 20 acres, and they're just made to just grow. And sometimes we plant them. We want there's not a lot of spruce around, so we'll plant them with spruce and oak. And we're just trying to give a variety of habitat across the landscape. And so probably in future years, which is more than 5 years out, there probably will be some harvesting, I'm pretty sure, in Weston. And so we haven't even planned those yet, but it's part of the same project. I think the project is 17,000 acres across the district, but not all of it. We're just assessing 17,000 acres. I'm gonna look at 50 acres and only cut 5 of it. So it's like we just say in air that we're assessing.
That Norway spruce and oak mountain needs some work.
It does, and that's not a native plant. It's not invasive because it doesn't really. It's just a non-native tree, but it served its purpose, and now that it's beyond its age, because it's starting to get red rot. Those are things we need to assess, and so we haven't gone into all of them, but we will eventually. Hopefully, but the red rot isn't, because you don't see red rot until you cut the tree down, and then the tree just springs out this red fungus that just you can't see it until it gets exposed to the air. But it's so that's why it's hard to sell the tree, because you got to take a chance that it's not in there. And then the logger puts it in his pile, and he comes back the next morning like, "Ooh, I can't sell that tree anymore. It's full." So
Well, the winds take a lot of them down.
there is, yeah. And so we worked with like Winhall. They've got a lot of their roads through some of those pine plantations, and the wind events blow them over the roads. So we worked with Winhall to with the town. I would go mark the timber like on the right of way, and then the town had a choice. They could cut it down and they could leave it, and then people come get a firewood permit from us. Well, because it's marked and it's $20, it's $10 a cord. And they could go out and cut that wood for their own private use. But Winhall, what they decided was that they were going to pick it up, and they were going to take it to their town garage, and they were going to cut it up for people, or people come in. Well, then we just need the town to buy a firewood permit. So they came in and paid $60 for a 6-cord permit. I don't know how much they got because I didn't keep track, but that way we kept ahead of the town crew when they were doing reditching and things like that. Then it's like, then I can go along and say, oh, look, there's a stump there. Did somebody cut that illegally because it doesn't have any paint on it? Or is there paint on it? And I'm like, okay, well, that's okay. I don't have to worry about a timber theft. But then, because if someone gets caught cutting federal timber without a permit for no reason, then, that's not good. So we try to work with the town. So if anyone's doing like any road work or anything like that, we would be glad to come up and mark some timber for them on the roadside that they could cut, or we could put a firewood permit together. And I usually tell the public, hey, we got permit there. You just go cut the trees yourself. And we try to work with the towns. Because that's pretty cheap wood. It's just the sweat labor that you got to put into it.
Yeah, right.
So we try all kinds of things. We've got a lot of new people at the district. Everyone's like, oh, we got new people, but they bring in new ideas and new ways of doing things, and so we're trying a little bit of everything. So
can I ask about staffing at the Forest Service?
Sure.
Being cut.
At the district, we lost one person, our front desk person, so, but, yeah, we don't know, but as of right now, we lost one person, but we'll be mainly, we don't know, that's really the answer, but, we're hoping for the best.
I think what you've been telling others is that if you're gonna come to the office for something, whether it be a permit or a good pond permit or something like that, call ahead to make sure someone's at the front desk to staff it. Because if you're taking money from somebody, they need a special authorization to do it.
Right.
And so we really only have one person now that does that. And so we just want to make sure that person's there if someone drives all the way over to Manchester to get something, that person's there at the desk.
Yeah, so, that's a good advice, but in general, for now, we're mainly open 8:30 to 4 Monday through Friday, but if it's maybe a good idea just before you drive over, like what Stacy said, just to give a call. Yeah,
Get proper personnel.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we just don't want the person to be on sick leave or on annual leave when someone comes over. It's just, like I said, I have people come up from Pownell to get a firewood permit and no one's there. It's like, ooh, it's a long ways to drive
Right.
for nothing, you know, and I can't help them. You know, 'cause it's
Yeah.
against, I'm not authorized to take people's money, you know, I mean, you know, in cash.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, we all know, so you guys probably have the same rules. It's not everybody in your office can take people's cash. You know,
Sure, right.
we just want, I mean, we are customer service driven and Martina runs the district that way. And so that's why we're here to places like, you know, the towns to make ourselves available. And if anyone has questions, you know, you guys have Martina's information
Yeah.
and we can get back to you.
Sean has mine,
Yes.
yeah. Well, thanks for letting us, take some of your time tonight.
Thank you for
No
the
problem,
information.
anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
Great.
information.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it's very, it's a lot to learn.
yeah, no more.
I don't know who would like this.
I can take that.
Yeah, last time you were pretty crowded.
Yeah.
You come around the corner like, oh,
There was something.
Oh,
going
some
on.
nights it gets that way.
yeah.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Thank you. Drive, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Snowing.
I'm going down the valley. It's gonna get better, you guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna
Yeah,
get
that's
worse.
All right, so I guess we'll move on to number 5. It's set the meeting minutes.
So, I didn't have any corrections except to the spelling.
Oh, gosh, did I?
So you got it right in the who was present, but then throughout, like if
Oh,
you
we
look
did
at number
switch,
3,
okay.
you left the N out of
Oh,
Sarnia.
yeah. I'm
And I
sorry.
think you can just do a find and replace because it's through the whole thing. But Sean, I just want to say, you do a great job of summarizing long discussions and getting the gist of them. Things are well done.
Agreed.
Definitely rewrite a bunch.
No, you've done a nice job. Thank you.
We need a motion to accept the second.
Motion to accept the meeting notes from March 25th.
I'll second that.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye. Oh, right.
I have a pen. Thank you.
All right, we also have the minutes for the town meeting. Do you want to do them tonight or wait till Jim's here? All 5 and sign them? What's your pleasure, folks?
Why don't we
Doesn't make
wait?
any
Why don't we wait
difference.
until
Why don't
Jim's
we
here?
wait? Yeah.
Take care of that. Number 6 is the
Fire station bids.
I'm hoping this is a bit. It's just, I don't know for it, so. I'm assuming that's what it is.
Okay, before we get opening the bids, let's just review the spec sheet. I believe that was given out to them.
Mhm.
Just the decking.
Pardon?
What is the decking? If decking,
Roof, plywood on the roof.
oh, okay, thank you.
I had that circled as well. I was like,
There's,
there's no jack on that, Bill.
I've been told there's some water leaks there. They won't know what shape the plywood is in until they get the shingles off. The only thing I question in the specs here, and I'm not a builder, but the 1.25" wash nails are like kind. I myself think they're too long from what I've been told, because when you put the nail in and it goes through the plywood, the metal is showing below the plywood. And well, gather frost, it could work its way back up out. But we'd have to check with somebody knows a hell of a lot more about it than I do.
Yeah, I have no idea on that, so.
Because the garage is not heated.
Well, yeah, the garage is heated, but up there shouldn't be heated, because they put in, years ago, I got them to insulate the roof, then I got them to do the
Gotcha.
roof
Yeah, yeah,
walls.
okay, got it.
Did you know somebody you could ask that question to?
I have a certain someone in mind. His name is Dad.
All right, so we'll open the big one first.
Sort of exciting.
I'll let you open that. When time comes, you can open this one.
Thank you.
Brian, you can open this
Look
one.
at this. Oops, thank you.
I guess so. I mean,
When did this go out? When did the bid go out?
Lisa Yersha
Don't read that.
did
Oh,
the RFP, or the request for work and the scope, so I am believing it was in March.
Okay.
And ask for a definite date.
there are two copies of this.
Just was wondering. Thank you.
Okay, what was there?
So Janet,
Jesuits.
how is it? Jansowitz?
Jesuits. and some,
Jansowitz is 52,440. 5252440. 40, yeah.
All right, we have one total roofing.
Contract.
That's the page that has the.
Yep. So I'm assuming we have to match up this with the proposal to a certain degree, right?
thanks, Kat.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, of course. Oh, wow.
Significant difference.
Are these apples, well, I mean, you have to look to see if these are apples to apples, right? Are they? What is this total?
And what's the third one?
Brian's got it.
You see this
Yeah, I
already?
already saw that
Okay.
one.
I've seen that one.
Over with you.
Brief.
These guys spent a lot of money on nice pictures and paper.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Buddy System Roofing. Belmont. 25. So my question is, are they all giving us the same
Looks like,
scope? Like, I mean, I know we give them the proposal, but.
Right, and rarely do all the bidders ever follow the scope.
Right.
And
So do we typically go back and try and match it to see who's close or?
yeah, we can try.
And is one using a better quality roofing than the other? I mean, this is things that I don't know a lot about, so I'm just making sure that we're looking at that. You guys understand, you understand this better than me.
Yeah.
Like, is there a difference between, because this is vastly different, right?
it is,
Vastly different in pricing between the three. So I'm wondering, is there a difference in what they're offering?
Yeah. good question.
I think she's already got a copy of that.
third one. Yeah.
I just passed it without actually reading it.
No, I just,
It's a lot to absorb at once
can I
for
have,
me.
oh, you're looking at that, is that, can I look at, no, the other one?
Yep.
Thank you. And what Denny's looking at. It's more extensive.
Okay.
It's toward the end. So, do we need to make a decision on this tonight?
That's what I was gonna suggest. We take a breath,
Yeah.
we leave this paperwork here in the office. And at your leisure. Go through it. Compare, see what you wanna do. You know, see if you can get it close to apples. Apples, there's not a lot of information on one.
Mhm.
The other one's got a little bit, other one, and the other one's maybe got too much. No, I'm just.
I agree. I'm
trying to
laughing
be-
because that's my initial thought too.
And,
Hold on.
I think maybe we should ask Shauna to spend a little time looking at them and see if she picks up anything glaring on it. And the only thing I will say is, my knowledge, I don't think we've ever had metal in the valleys. So it's been shingle, I believe, but maybe I'm wrong.
That we've never had metal, what did you say? Sorry.
Metal in the valleys,
Okay,
In the roof valleys, and that's what they're
Okay.
proposing.
right?
Jansowitz.
One of the things wrong with this whole thing is this roof sits out in the sun all the time. And it should be, nowadays they have this stuff you can spray on it to kind of keep the shingles soft, and it should be done every 3, 4, 5 years. Costs a little money, but if it keeps the shingle pliable, it'll last longer. Because as you can see, these are pretty brittle.
Area.
So if everybody's in favor of doing it that way, we can. Because I didn't see any deadline on the.
I feel like Jim should look at this too.
So just to pick up on that one thing that you noted, the metal in the valleys, this doesn't say anything about valleys. So it's gonna be hard, as you said, to do
Yeah.
apples to apples.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, we run into it. Like on oil bids. And things like that. She'll send out a spec sheet. And they'll just send in whatever they want.
Mm.
And so it's a nightmare.
Yeah, this one just says install grace, ice, and water shield along valleys, so that would not be metal, I assume.
Doesn't
No,
say
right.
what it's gonna be, but probably not.
Now they make a, what's the proper name for
I don't
it?
know.
Ice shield or something. It's like a roll of tar paper, but it's got all this tar and fiber in it.
Okay.
They,
We've always called it bitchethane.
yeah,
Well,
that's
I
what
don't
it
know.
is, bitch of thing.
If that's what they call it, so.
And what they do usually is they roll it down the valley, then bring shingles in over.
Okay.
And just think,
So
looking
let me
at the
correct me,
the
clearly.
3 bids. It's only one that kind of talks about the safety regulations in OSHA.
Just that one.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll do with this thing.
Well, we're probably also looking at a bigger company that's used to
So used to
doing
doing
fancy bids.
fancy bids and
Yeah.
As opposed to a smaller company that
That's
doesn't
not-
have the administrative
Yeah.
staff to put together a
True.
fancy bid.
right.
But we could go back to these people and ask for more information, yes?
Yeah, if you want, yeah.
And just, once we have a chance to look at them, that might be something we wanna do.
Yeah, I mean, if, you know, that'll get us closer to apples as we said.
Yeah.
Yeah, question, Sean. Oh. Future. All right.
Okay, so we're all gonna come and review it. Okay.
Okay, let's see, where are we here? Layout update is number 8.
That is just me again with the buyouts. The Stacy, has accepted her buyout, or both people have accepted their buyouts. And I think Pete Law Group, who the state is using right now, is in trying to set up all the closing stuff. I haven't heard anything about closing from Mr. Hart. I believe they're just working on Stacy's at the moment. And that is kind of all that I have right now. I've reached out to Brian. I just had a couple questions. I've never bought a house or sold a house or had a buyout from the state, so there's a lot coming. But
Did you folks notice anything in the buyout paper that we signed for Jake Hart?
What do you-
Well, we're supposed to be in a society that recycles things.
Okay.
According to the paperwork, the way I read it, none of that can be recycled or salvaged. All goes into a dumpster.
Oh,
Just pointing,
we didn't notice that.
well, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, you know, this hand is pushing recycling, this, and this hand is saying,
But is that because it's a hazardous waste thing? Because it's
Well, inside the house, there's copper pipes, there's a furnace, there's
Right, it could be
metal
used for,
roofing, a
right,
lot of
right,
metal.
right. It could be used for different
Part of the
things,
Terms,
right, right,
is
right.
that it all gets
It all gets,
demolished.
Hmm.
Do the same.
It is interesting, you don't go in first.
all the bathroom fixtures and stuff, they could have got out of motel over there in Ludlow. Just,
Where, the what, oh, the motel in Ludlow?
yeah, down towards the
Yeah,
lumberyard.
Timber
Timber?
Ridge,
Yeah, they just plowed that all down in no time, huh?
they did.
Yeah.
And Sam's is.
Sam's
When you think about that, like, yeah, it could be used for like, yeah, a lot of stuff.
Okay, letter has been drafted to the 3 landowners that, we want to get consent from, and
And Linda, I
So
did,
that-
this is a new, one with your suggestions in
At the
it that I
bottom.
just printed
Oh, okay.
and changed this morning.
Thank you.
I suggested adding the third paragraph here. No,
Proceed to. the next.
Proceed with the next steps of the project, planning committee.
yeah, right.
Cleanup efforts, yeah.
Oh, yeah, to proceed with the next step, the planning, yeah, right.
Committee process your consent.
Second paragraph, sorry.
And this will go hand in hand with talking to the forestry service about doing the trees, right? It would like go hand in hand, talking to the forestry service about
no, this is a different project.
different, whole totally different thing.
It's a different place too,
It's a different place.
isn't it?
Yes.
This is closer
This
to
is
Route
close to the
100.
Route 100, and the other one is down on
Down
Jenny,
yeah.
Jenny,
Yeah.
yeah, Jenny Coolidge.
Yeah.
And how many landowners are involved with this?
Well, we're gonna send a letter to 3 of them,
Okay,
because we don't know exactly sure where the boundary lines are. And if, for instance, all 3 give us consent to do it, we wouldn't have to sort out at each individual property line. But if only 2 say go, then we've gotta spend time and
yep,
stuff to see where I'm headed with it.
yep, makes sense. Got it.
So if we approve this, should we have at least one signature on this letter set?
Yes.
You know, I think, Shauna, I think we should have the first sentence of that paragraph. As part of this process, we are reaching out to local landowners to request their consent to proceed with work on or near their property. To proceed with the next steps of the project, the planning and permitting process for consent is needed. So just stick my new sentence in the, before your approval. Oh, no, actually, that doesn't make sense. Leave it the way it is. Sorry.
I mean, it does, I mean, it feels like I'm saying it a lot,
Yeah,
you know?
it does. It does feel a little overemphasized there that we're.
Well, the reason that I wanted that, to request their consent here,
Right, you wanted them to know that we're not jumping forward, right?
Yeah, that this isn't the
I
only
get
time
that.
they're gonna have a chance to say something.
Right.
Yeah, so that's okay. That this new one is fine. I guess it should be your signature, right?
But
Yeah, that makes sense.
if we're gonna make a motion, just make a motion and say that at least one select board member sign it.
I'll make a motion for one select board member to sign this.
And that this is the letter we want.
And that this is the letter that we want. I make a motion for this specific letter to be sent and signed by Denny for one select board member.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
I
You get them ready, Shar. Give me a call. Stuff there, so. Number 10.
This is interesting.
Don't mention names here, you might read a number or something off. Chance in that.
Okay. So I have a quick question. We have a tax collector, right? And this person stepped away, right? Did I remember reading that?
Yeah, Miss Hart stepped away due to mess ups on her part.
Uh-huh.
And now we have Linda Crandall.
Oh, we do. Okay, that's right. Okay, that's what I could remember.
Linda Grandel.
Yeah, is our tax collector. And I don't know the first one on the list. The second one on the list, I believe, is in the state. Next one, I do not know. Next one, somebody just write a big enough check or what for that amount.
The fifth one, you mean?
The
You already
fourth,
said-
the fourth, yeah, the fourth one down.
This
Okay.
next one, there's some issues there and
Oh, it's a couple of years.
yeah, but there's some health issues there.
And then Denny, that same one is second from bottom. Is that the same? Or does that just happen to be the same name, or is that?
I'd say it's,
Two different properties, same person?
say it's different because if you look at the first one, there's an indication there's two names, in the bottom one, there's indication one name.
Okay.
Oh, Kim just sent me a text, I'm sorry to interrupt, that parcel number 205035
Yes,
has paid,
third from the top, third from the bottom,
correct.
Okay,
841.
great.
Let's see, next one. This guy always manages to get them paid, but he pays a lot in penalties and interest, but that's on him, but he does. He's not gonna leave us hanging, but
That's a lot. Okay,
So that's 2 years worth.
pardon?
And that's 2 years worth. We're looking at 110158. Or did I miss?
No, I
Yeah,
think,
that's,
is that, yeah, that's what we're looking at.
The 10,808.
And then the 593, which is that just, he didn't pay enough in the first year?
Right. So, but he always comes around.
Okay,
And then the 1, 2, 3, fourth one from the bottom, I have no idea who that one is.
the LLC. No. The 1300282.
Mhm.
And we. Next to last one. I don't know, but I got a feeling I know who it is, but I don't comment on it. And then the last one. I'm not sure about, but the total due is almost 60. Less than 64, because one's paid, but 63. And seniors, when it's been a lot higher.
I was gonna ask that, where it stands, okay. When how often do we review this and?
Usually once a month, and we
Okay.
usually get it the first meeting of the month.
Okay,
And we talk about it second meeting of the month. And then if the people are uncooperative and don't want to work with the tax collector, there is a process to put it up for sale. Now, we've just changed some of the rules on that, so I don't know what they are, but the old used to be like if they sold a piece of property, the owner has up to a year to reclaim it with interest for the new owner.
I remember
should do
this.
anything.
Yeah.
But like I say, I've been told they state has changed the rules again on it, so don't carve it in stone, please.
Would it help? I don't know how this works. Would it help to have some kind of commentary from Linda about where she stands with these? Like, we're looking at them, right? And I don't
Not
really
me,
know.
but Linda.
No, no, right, I'm sorry. not
That's all
you.
right. No, no, no. Sure, I'll let you know what I.
I literally was like, Linda.
I'd wait till first July before I ask her for comments on it.
Okay.
She's relatively new to the job.
Yep.
And let her get her feet wet, so.
Not, yeah, just for our knowledge, I mean,
Yeah.
just to say, like, she knows that this is moving forward or it's not, and we're,
Well, like I said, she didn't take it over till
right.
January, I think, so she hasn't been there very long, so give her a chance, get her feet wet.
Yeah.
So this is really for our information, no action is required at this time on our part.
The only time we'll get to do action is if she comes in and says, I wanna sell X.
Okay,
Okay,
We'll give her the go ahead.
okay, that's fine. So she's not actually looking for anything from us. That answers another question.
Number 11, Jim was gonna handle this, and I think we ought to table this until he's here to explain how he talked to him about it.
Mhm.
That's my opinion, but if you folks wanna dive into it.
I think it would make sense for him to be here, but I did read the email that you forwarded. That Shauna forwarded. Yeah, I think we should wait for him.
I think it's really important for everybody to be here anyway, because we need to be sure that, we need to understand what the processes are and whether we're following them. It's good to have everybody here to talk about that.
Yeah.
The state does have a executive set, open meeting law, which was referred to in that email we had.
Mhm.
And there's a whole section on, in fact, it's in our packet, it's
Yep.
in here, the
Yeah.
open meeting law. I think it'd be probably useful to talk about that a little bit, just make sure we all understand what the issues are. But good to have everybody here. I agree with you, Denny.
I did just send another email. There is the LCT is putting on, I believe it's April 16th. A webinar from 10 to 11:30 for committees and boards about the open meeting law, and they're usually super informative. It's not required, but it is nice
Okay,
on the 16th.
little, yeah. I sent an email and it has the link and you can just sign right up. It does say that it costs $48, but if you just click that, we're a member, you get it for free.
sure.
Number 12, the community club's just asking permission to do their usual thing you do around the park on the weekend where they close the park off and have their dance and stuff, so they're just asking for our blessings. They've done it for many years,
Need a motion for this?
should be, yes, please.
I move we approve the Weston Community Association's request to close Park Street on Sunday, May 25th.
There's that,
A second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
We go to. First. All right, the first one's payroll. We're looking at $12,285.69. There's a second, I'm up.
Second, sorry. I'm staring at numbers.
Yeah. $12,285.69. Is that the one I'm looking at?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I told them at town meeting, we can't control the overtime with Mother Nature.
That's right.
And that was then him talking about bringing in
Eric?
Nick, was that guy's name?
Nick.
Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Right. All those in favor?
Aye. Oops. Signed into Jim's name here.
Sure. You forget.
Oh, I just forgot mine. Is that?
All right, next one is accounts payable. Got questions, I'll try and answer them, but Brown Enterprises where they get James and Barn oil. And then Coda and Coda, Cannon Solutions is for the office. Cargo stuff is road salt. Coda and Coda's diesel fuel. Shades is crushed stone, sure pack for the roads. Du Bois and King submitted their final bill.
What was that for?
Is that for the
That's the
painting?
flood,
Or
no, that's
no,
the flood recovery committee grant, and so that's that money comes out of the grant, but it's the assessment of the river and the dams and the bridge. That was not very articulately explained, but you get the idea.
I know what you mean.
That makes sense now.
Fully services is for uniforms and rugs on the floor and workshop towels.
So a lot of this is sort of small stuff. The New England Municipal Consultation.
That's a full-time lister appraiser. The lister's doing the reappraisal notice.
Okay.
Yeah. And the state. Oh, let me think if I got this number right. I think the state gives the town $6.50 each year per parcel plan. And we roll it into a fund to help pay for this reassessment. Once in a while, we will pull money out if we need a computer, is that correct, Cheryl? Or we need something for upstairs. Once in a while, we'll touch a little bit of it, but mostly it's money that's supposed to be put aside, not touched for
Kim's right here.
reappraisal. Kim?
Yeah, so the NEMC is the group that's doing the reappraisal. So that is coming out of the reappraisal fund. We are given approximately $6,100 a year per parcel maintenance for the grand list, and that does go into the reappraisal fund. And then as we have expenses, it gets drawn down. When they started the reassessment, the reappraisal process, they had about 89,000 in there, and I think it's down to about 30 or 40. And I don't know how many more bills you'll get from that, but yeah, it's a per parcel fee from the state.
And then the upstairs painting.
That's the final bill.
Right.
That's the final bill.
Always
Yes. And Denny, if you want to do a walkthrough at some point this week, that would be
Okay.
great.
Chanel Auto Parts. Water testing is for the little school.
How often do we do that?
Well, it's a quarter, I believe.
Okay.
Correct. I just wanted to explain on the TD card services.
I was
We
just looking
had,
at-
yeah, we had applied to TD Bank to have corporate credit card system in place. That is their annual fee for that. It does give us, Shauna and I, the ability to monitor it and manage it online. The road crew each has their own credit cards under that program, as do Shauna and I. So everybody should be all set with that. They came in last month.
Does anybody, any questions?
The town of Londonderry,
That's for your dump permit.
thank you.
So we pay them for the punch cards and the permits, and then people in Weston buy them and we get the money back. Is
Yep.
that how that works?
We collect and then we send. We're just a pass through for those punch cards. We collect the money at cost and then we reimburse. We send the money to Londonderry. And we do, when they true up their costs at the end of the year, they put that revenue against the expenses for the town, for the transfer station, and it reduces our overall costs. So that revenue is shared amongst all the member towns of the transfer station.
Okay, thank you.
And then the new excavator.
Yeah.
That's
We went to 140 and he's got a trailer coming to tow it around.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Say, we went approved up to 140.
Right.
Mhm.
That's the excavator, and he's got a small trailer coming so he can move it around with the town truck.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Okay.
great.
The Wallingford crushed stone.
Pardon?
What is the Wallingford crushed stone? What is that?
So they get their shirt back over in Wallingford on Route 7.
Okay,
It's the fine stuff they put on the roads.
okay.
But there's also a sure pack from somebody else, right?
Shades,
Shades,
yeah.
right, okay.
There's different sizes of in one
Oh.
place. You know, some of it will be 1/8 inch, some will be 1/4 inch, some will be 3/8, some 1/2 inch, 5/8. It goes in various sizes.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes Shaves is out of it, and so they go over there to get what they want for the day.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's one of the reasons. It's for 10 more, because I can triple there with a 16.
Mm.
So we are at $183,281.52 for this pay order.
So moved.
Second.
There we go.
All those in favor?
Aye. So Shauna, when you type these up, my name is wrong on here. Okay. I can change it.
Okay, I'll get it.
That's all right.
It's nice to have someone's last name more difficult than mine.
There you go.
Rarely happens.
I don't have a great one.
I'm usually Girlich.
Oh, yeah, yours is hard too, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, on that pen.
You're next.
I'll leave it here.
Thank you.
All right, we have new and old business. Under old business, the guy I was talking about fixing the front of, he stopped by, he couldn't get in, but he looked at 2 columns. He said the inside the posts are solid, you just need to redo the outside. And he was talking about using vinyl, if you want vinyl.
We're out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he
You
said,
wrap the posts in vinyl, is that what he's
yeah,
suggesting?
replace the boards that are there with vinyl.
Okay.
And the screen door, he get a new insert for the screen door. And when he gets here, can actually do the work and look at the door frame around there and find out what's wrong with that. He can go from there, but, it's basically a small job. You can't get anybody to do anything, so it's hours plus material.
Isn't that just for the front? Does that include the light too, or is it just for the front and the siding and stuff?
Pardon?
Because does that include the light too, and fixing the light out front? Is that just?
I think Jeff took care of that, didn't he, Shannon, with
You
the
put
new
light
bulb?
bulbs in it, turns out.
Word, awesome,
That's a good move. I
cool.
might have been able to do that. Maybe.
But in the
Troubleshooting.
future, in the future, if there's a major problem, we've got an outlet right outside the building.
Mhm.
And you can put a new line from there over to the outlet.
Right.
Some sort of a sensor, so it would come on in the future. We've got some on the corners of the building. And per usual, it's way too close, so it needs to be thinned down. If we can find somebody, I think you would be interested in something like that,
Nasty.
we talked about it last year and, I have to stop doing it. Yeah, we don't want them totally destroyed, they need to be away from that.
Yeah.
Would you spend, as far as like talking, is that someone who would work for the town that we would have come and do that, or is it just someone who we would then subcontract out to come and do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do we stand on this, tax map, please, Kim?
Tax map? What?
The taxes due on the house that got sold without the tax being paid.
It's been in your hands. I haven't pursued anything further. The attorney has sent emails, and it's entirely up to the select board to make a decision.
The attorney said that it would be. Have to be sent to the new owner.
New owner, right, right, not the old
Yeah, not the old
owner.
owner. We talked about doing a letter, but then they were gonna talk about to the Attorney General about what our
Jim was going to.
Jim was going to, so we're still kind of waiting for that or no? Okay.
As long as it fits in the minutes, so it doesn't get forgotten.
Yeah,
I was supposed to talk to an attorney general?
No, Jim was
Jim.
going
Jim
to.
was going to.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Jim and Kim. Kim got close to Jim.
Kim and Jim, it's a problem. Tim was even worse.
Kim and Jim. On the library report that I put in last month, I don't know if you had a chance, I hope you had a chance to read that. Just to review, the library is a municipal library, so it is under the guise of under the authority of the select board.
Mhm.
And the expansion of the library is, the board of the library has, select board authorized the board of the library to go through with the expansion plans, and the library board appointed the Friends of the Western Community to undergo that, to organize that process, find an architect, and get bids, and monitor the building process, all of which with the approval of the library board. So that's, I just wanted to give you a little bit of history
Yep.
about that.
Yeah.
And the select board and the town have been very generous in supporting that project over the years, over about 3 or 4 years now, with allocations of $50,000 a year, which is as well as $50,000, I believe, toward the purchase of the land. So that's been very generous on the part of the town in supporting that library. And I was really pleased to see in the town plan that there's a couple of places where supporting the Wilder Memorial Library is a
It's detailed.
an important detail of that. And part of the, I don't know if I even need to say this, but the part of the funding for that library is a grant from the federal government, which has been in some doubt because of what's going on with the federal government right now. But the state library board today assured me, and I'm on the state library board commission. They said that money is in the process of being dispersed. So
it can be,
it's a reimbursement grant. So we have to spend the money before we get it, but get reimbursed for it. But it seems to be working. So that's
That's
good
great.
so
That's
far.
good news.
It's
Yeah.
exciting.
And the library's temporary space is
Oh,
looking
yeah, and
really
that's the other
great.
thing. Yeah, the library today opened in its new space in the back room of the Old
OPC,
Parish Church,
yeah.
and it's really beautiful in there. So if you want to stop by, and
I'm gonna have to go by.
we moved some of the shelving to OPC, and the children's room upstairs is delightful. I'd like to spend a lot of time up there myself.
Yeah, it looks like a great little cubby hole to climb into
Yeah,
to
a little
read.
nap
I saw
place,
it.
yeah. And final negotiations with the contractor, I believe, are gonna happen tomorrow, no, Thursday. So we're hoping to be able to get final approval for permits and then start sometime this month. So that's where we are with that. But anyway, did you have any questions about how that all worked? I just wanted to be sure that you
Pretty clear on
understood
it.
it, because it's, yeah, okay, great, thank you. Do you have any questions about that? You've been part of it all this
Well, I
time. so-
have one quick question.
Yeah.
So you're getting the money through the grant, and they did the bid to, go above what the potential like exorbitant costs would be, correct?
Right, there's a contingency in there. There's I forget what the percentage is. Might be 10%, but no, it's not 10. I think it might be an 11% contingency or something in that grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just something to think about down the road. We'll probably get into it May or June, I don't know, but this building needs a new furnace. And there was a lot of talk about putting in ground heaters.
Geothermal?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's a catch-22 situation, as I understand. Geothermal are not so great when it gets extremely cold. And I think what I'll boil down to is you'll probably end up installing both with the oil mainly back up or keep it up during the day. And the other thing is, if I can find it, got a paper up to the house about cleaning the geothermals. And this guy went through and explained it all. And he said that to do a complete job on one, it takes about 7 hours. It's not like the oil people coming in and an hour and a half later they're walking out the door, but you've heard this thing down here rumble when it comes on. We've been told it's on its last legs, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to forewarn you that sometime we've got to deal with that.
so geothermal and the possibility of a heat pump?
Yeah.
Also, those aren't related necessarily.
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay.
Kim?
I think they were speccing just for heat pumps, not geothermal.
Oh.
I think geothermal is something different, but I'm not the expert, but they were speccing heat pumps. And or a new furnace.
But I'm not a big fan of heat pumps because like our brother in Weathersfield who's had nothing but trouble with his. And he's even changed contractors to work on it for him. regardless of anything you have, you can have problems with it. Cars, trucks.
Yep.
There you go.
Furnaces, refrigerator.
Yeah.
So I guess we're probably looking at the 13th of May for our next meeting unless,
The 22nd.
22nd of April.
oh, 22nd of April. See, I lost them.
Yeah.
I was like,
Alright, so would you please send each one of the roof people a note saying that, we're gonna review and compare all the bids and make our decision on the 22nd? They won't be holding their hand worrying about it. I think that's the proper thing to do.
I have one thing for old business, if you don't mind, last meeting we signed the financials for the highway. And I forgot to have the certificate signed. I know, I should have flipped it over, but I didn't. And that's the same thing, just that we adopted in July of 2019. And we sign it every year, saying that we still.
thank you, Penny. It's my turn for yours.
Just an FYI, I will not be here, unfortunately. I have, going to
Ryan?
be away on the 22nd. I don't tell that. I just remembered you said that as you said that. 400-pound pit bull.
Okay, send him along, her or him.
Thank you.
Is there anything else anybody needs to discuss or?
Should we make a motion to move into executive session?
Pardon?
Should we make a motion to move into executive session?
What do we have to go into executive session?
I have no idea.
We have nothing to go into executive session.
Okay, good.
The applications for highway workers had come in and we had reviewed them and gone over them and stuff, and we were thinking about making a decision, then yes, we would. When we
Into
discuss
executive
it,
session.
and when we come out, we would vote.
All right, thank you.
Don't go every week.
Okay.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Also,
Aye.
Jansen.